Welcome to This Is Not Legal Advice. I am your host, TINLA, and today is a very special reading for Imbolc 2026, which falls on February the 1st. We're going to talk today about your life, generally, your love life, and your career events as applies to times preceding the Imbolc and times thereafter, so it's sort of a past and future reading. And we're going to get some advice from Spirit. I'm going to go ahead and break this out by the fixed signs, the cardinal signs, and the mutable signs. That is just what seemed right to me. But before we do that, I'm going to talk a little bit about Imbolc. Now, I do not claim to be an expert in any way on this, but it is a holiday that celebrates the halfway point between the winter solstice, which in the Northern Hemisphere falls on December 21st, and the spring solstice, which is also called Ostera, and that falls on March 21st. So this is, again, the 1st of February, which is also called St. Bridget's Day for those of you who are Irish or Gaelic. It talks about healing, the cleansing power of fire and smithing specifically, but I also see it as a rebirth and sort of the labor pains between when things are going darker to a turn in terms of a lighter. So it encourages us almost in a New Year's sort of way to reflect on our lives and see what seeds we can plant and nurture to start to grow in a way that we can watch come to fruition in the immediate future. So it's almost like a culling of the past, a reflection of the past, and looking toward the future, and when we see the fruits of our labor. So there's a lot of themes here in terms of the floral and just the beauty of the coming spring and anticipating that. And so there's a lot of different ways we can do that creatively. If you have extra time in your life, which I don't know who does, but if you happen to, you could, look toward how can I feel more comfortable in my living environment, and maybe it means finally digging in, rolling up your sleeves and cleaning out that closet you've been meaning to clean out for a while. Maybe it is sweeping the porch every day if you have a porch that maybe needs sweeping. If you don't have time, but maybe you have some extra money you can give, maybe it's giving to some charitable organizations. It's maybe going through some things that you might have that you don't use anymore and donating them or lending them to neighbors. It might be about bringing together community, maybe forming new friendships or, severing ties with those in the past. And I'm going to talk about that in the end. We're going to do a very brief cord cutting. But long story short, which I know it's too late, we have our Seasons of the Witch Winter Tarot that we're going to be diving into for the things that are in the past here in terms of this season. We've got our Tarot of the Trees here, which will look at some of the future, sort of that blossoming energy. And we have our Imbolc Oracle from Seasons of the Witch, and that will give us our overall theme. So if you'd like to go ahead and join me, I'm going to do a quick cord cutting. I'm going to encourage you to think about things in your life that might merit revisiting, or that might, you might want to consider as an area of your life that you could change or look to change or plant new seeds, whether it's societally on the whole, whether it's personally with friends, family, loved ones, any kind of change that is on your mind where you would like to see seeds planted and maybe an end to some darkness in the past, but also the optimism of the future. I would encourage you to take a moment and think of that. And then I'm going to say, let's go ahead and cut that cord. Let's sever off those energies of the past, the negativity of the past. We're going to put that to the side, and we're going to say, let's focus on the future. So to that end, I'm going to start our reading. Mind your ears. And this is going to begin with our fixed signs, which are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. I chose the fixed signs to begin with because Aquarius is in that fixed sign group, and Aquarius is where we are right now in terms of the season. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the themes are in your life, your love, and your career. I again appreciate you joining me, liking, subscribing, all that jazz. This is actually a preview of one of what I would consider the special readings that I'll be including on the website, which is TINLAtarot.com. You can also find ways to book individual readings as well as to join the membership tiers, which include the book club and other fantastic things. And that's my spiel. So anyway, if you are one of our fixed signs, let's find out what the themes are right now for you. All right, in terms of general life, we have Winter Woodlands, number 44. In terms of love, Devotional, number 19. And for career, we have Peppermint, number 33. So already some repeating numbers, which is always a good thing. Let's take a look at what these mean more specifically. So in your overall life energy coming into and out of this season, we have the Winter Woodlands. It says here, take time to honor what you feel. Self-compassion is the healing balm you desire. So let's dig into number 44. 44 is, of course, stability, growth, completions of cycles. We love to see it. So let's see, number 44. Okay. It says, the keywords are self-compassion, healing, takes time, honor what you feel. Heart healing can feel a lot like being in winter woodlands. In this landscape, it can seem like time is standing still and the pain you are facing will be with you forever. Healing is never simple, and oftentimes you may not even know you're in a healing phase until you've made your way out. You may be ready to give up and shut yourself off from anything good that is attempting to come into your life, but you have pulled this card to tell you that healing is happening for you. Do not feel any pressure to heal your heart in any particular way. Sometimes it may feel like you're going in circles, passing the same emotions and feelings time and time again, but you must trust that you are headed in the right direction. Be gentle with yourself in the coming weeks, allowing yourself to feel what you're feeling without trying to change. You can still love someone even if they have hurt you, or grieve for something even if other people don't understand why. That doesn't mean you're silly, it means you're human. Don't worry, the frost on your heart will thaw and spring will find you again. I think that's beautiful. Let's take a look at devotional for your love life. Beautiful picture of a woman writing in a journal there with some kind of critter in her pocket. It says, there's something so intimate when letters reflect the tongue, in times of introspection when I am at my most vulnerable and revealing all that lives in me. All right, and number 19, of course, is also the sun energy, which is very positive energy. It's Leo, incidentally, energy. So let's take a look what it says specifically. All right. Keywords, journaling, introspection, and reflection. And it's on page 72, also incidentally a 9 there. The beautiful thing about a journal is that you are free to say the things you wouldn't dare utter out loud. It's a sacred space to record your thoughts and analyze your feelings in the comfort of pages that will never tell your secrets. And in allowing your words to flow freely, you make space to let the intelligence of your heart and soul speak. You have pulled this card to guide you to turn inward, to find the answer you are seeking, but hold off on any significant changes in the coming weeks. Receiving this card is a sign that now is not a good time to make any major decisions, as you would be doing so without all the information needed to determine your next steps. This card may appear when things are at a standstill and guides you to embrace deep self-care, focusing on honoring yourself and your needs. Sometimes the universe will guide your spirit to a time of confusion to encourage you to pause, reflect, and experience rest before the next major life cycle. If you do feel the urge to take action, consider keeping a journal to hold your ideas and desires until you are better prepared. Okay. Then we have for your career, Peppermint. Very refreshing. Number 33. Take from me what keeps me held back, clearing myself from all that does not belong in the vision of what is to come. All right. Peppermint, number 33. The keywords are clearing toxic relationships and behaviors. No one enjoys getting a cold or the flu, as they can bring great discomfort and pain that prevents you from experiencing the joys of life. Of course, it's better to take measures to prevent sickness, but sometimes it creeps up, coming from an unexpected place. Despite your best efforts, it can't be avoided. When you're sick, it's important to seek healing options to clear away the toxicity or infection that has caused the illness. You could let it run its course, but that could also lead to long-term effects or worse. You can also have an infection of the heart or soul, and it comes in the form of toxic relationships, self-sabotaging behaviors, and spiritual bypassing. The Peppermint card comes to your reading to warn you that the person or situation you have inquired about is harmful to you in some way, and you should take steps to remove them from your life, or at the very least, reduce their influence on you. Even if your past experience with this person or behavior has been positive, receiving this card is a sign that circumstances have changed for the worse. You can choose to take a passive role and see how things unfold, but consider the impact such a decision might have on your long-term well-being and whether it's worth the risk. That's a very like sort of inverted hangman energy there with the not seeing a different perspective. But what I'm seeing for you, to my beautiful fixed signs, as fixed signs, you are definitely slower to move. You are more comfortable in what is sort of the status quo. You're like the rock, the stability upon which other things are formed. And there is a strength in that. There's a beauty in that. And what I'm seeing here is a lot of this energy across the board, whether it's career or love or general life energy, that is about taking a moment for introspection, for reflection, and for maybe putting a slow end to things that don't serve you, but also reflecting in a way on how these coming weeks might progress. But it's all just this energy of a very slow change. It's not suggesting in any way with any of these cards that you take just like rapid action. This is relatively slow, which I think is a good pace for you as a fixed sign, where you're not the kind of person who is just ready to leap and go into something very dramatic. It's saying very consistent with your personality. Take a moment, take a beat, really reflect, really feel about where this is going for you. And we've got closed eyes here and turned away. You're very much introspective in this season of your life. And I think that the advice to journal, to take that time to devote yourself to your own thoughts and reflect is very well taken here. So I'm going to take these cards for our themes. I'm going to put them over to the side, and we're going to talk about where you are coming from as of the time of this reading. What has the season been like for you for the first half here? The pre-Imbolc, post-winter solstice. What have you been dealing with, my beautiful fixed signs who are joining me on this fabulous holiday? Thank you so much. What have they been dealing with in their general life energy, Spirit? What have they been dealing with, general life energy? All right, let's take a look. Apprentice of Winter Pentacles. Now, in this deck, the Apprentice is an energy of the Knight. They call it something different here, but it's the Knight of Pentacles. So it's a very slow-moving but steady energy. 10 of Winter Cups. Okay, that's an energy of long-term happiness, of growth and change and positivity in all the significant areas of your life. So in terms of your general life energy, there's a slow but steady progress that has been made in terms of your overall goals. It's not just about career or love for you. It's about like a holistic view of your life and making, again, slow and steady progress toward that. And also I want to point out that we see here in the background of this card this sort of supernova. So there's a lot of change that's happening in the background there. It's almost like the world may be unstable, but you are, on that slow and steady path here. See, these people are on the path towards security and shelter and in the homestead. All right, let's find out in love where you're coming from. New moon. That's number 18, which is the regular moon in the, your standard deck. And the 5 of Winter Cups. Okay, so in your love life here, fixed signs, you've got a lot of mystery. There's new beginnings here, but it's unknown what's going on. And you might be focused on the past, on regret here with this 5 of Winter Cups energy. You're really in, again, a deep period of introspection. Again, the new moon is, again, those new beginnings. It's darkness, though. You might be going through, I don't want to say a full-on dark night of the soul, but something where it just seems like dawn will never come, where it's almost despair. And you're looking back again at these cups that have fallen, at these things that you would hope for that didn't happen. And with these sort of crow-type figures hovering here above in this card, I apologize for the reflection. It makes me think of like when birds circle over a dead or deceased or unalived animal, where, they're getting ready to pick at that carcass. You almost expect the worst. But we can also see here there's like this crescent moon in the background, like just peeking through. So it's reminding you, I think, fixed signs, that while it may seem dark and full of despair in the new moon where you can't see the light ahead of you, there is indeed a light at the end of the tunnel here. There is a slight breaking, if you will, in the current. And notice also in the new moon, she's got like this red string of fate right there on the tree, kind of tying her back. And that makes me feel like what we just did with the cord cutting ceremony is very apropos, right? We're cutting the ties to the past. We're not looking back anymore. We're looking forward, right? In fact, if we look at, the prior cards where we were talking about that, the themes here, we have the winter woodlands, right? And she's looking back, she's looking away from us. But here we have somebody looking towards us, really these people are all making progress somewhere. So you've been making slow but steady progress, although in your life on the whole, but maybe in your love life, you're still feeling kind of like you missed the boat, right? Like you're in regret, and you might not be seeing that beautiful crescent moon as yet, but it is there. Okay, let's talk career. What's going on with career in the most immediate past? 8 of Winter Swords and self-reflection, which is number 20 in the Standard Tarot. That's our Judgment card. And Judgment is, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's Scorpio energy. If I'm not mistaken, I have to look it up. But anyway, the point here is, with the 8 of Winter Swords, 8 of Swords is always that energy of feeling like you can't escape from a prison of your own making. It's a prison in your mind. It's something that is holding you back, not because it intrinsically does, but because you're letting it. And with self-reflection, you can see it's almost like this person is hovering above the water, and they have a sense of freedom about them if only they could see that they are free. I'm really just getting this sense of rising above, of looking within and realizing you're not a prisoner here to your job. You're not bound to your job. This might feel like you might have been in the same job for a very long time, and you've been considering perhaps how to get out of that job. Maybe not because you hate it, maybe, but like you're just looking toward the future, right? You want something different. You want something new, something more beneficial to you, but you feel like you can't leave. And maybe you feel like you can't leave because you have like family obligations or monetary obligations, or you don't know what the future is going to hold for you. And, very much reiterating what we saw at the beginning about going within, we have this self-reflection card. And I think Spirit's saying, not just don't limit yourself, but by looking within, you can really see that you have everything you need within you to survive no matter what happens. And you don't need to be struggling in this life and be miserable, right? You can have something that you actually enjoy doing that also benefits you, that also glorifies you, and is consistent with who you are and what your values are. Now, I've just been shuffling, as you see, and I'm going to not look at the bottom. I'm going to save the bottom card for the advice, okay? So that's where you're coming from. On the whole, again, circling back to our overall life energy, it's very much a slow, steady progress through everything, but you are seeing bigger picture. How does this impact me? How are the things that are going on right now? How do they impact me? So I wouldn't be surprised, quite honestly, if you're sitting there saying like, yeah, I know all this, thanks, not helpful. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. So what is the back half here from Imbolc to our spring solstice Ostara have for my fixed signs? Are you going to be fixed in that 8 of Swords energy, or what are we going to do here? What is the overall energy? And I'm called actually to just lay it out. Just lay it on the line, right? All right, let's lay it on the line. King of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, 5 of Swords, Knight of Swords, Ace of Cups, King of Cups, the Hermit, the Death Rebirth card, and the King of Swords. Okay. So first of all, I just want to point out that on the whole here, we have not had a lot of major arcana. you know, again, I'm not going to look at the bottom of the deck right now. We're going to say that for advice. But you have not had a whole lot of major arcana, you know, and when you have had it, we're seeing here it's over here in the career arena. So I think that's a bigger focus for you right now. Because again, we have this Judgment card basically and the Hermit and this Death Rebirth. But on the whole, it's very much like a steady energy in your life right now. Not substantial change. It's, again, it really is in line with that slow but steady progress. So I want to point out, we had, again, remember we had that Apprentice of Winter Pentacles, which I said was the same as the Knight of Pentacles. We have that here, and we have the Five of Swords. So further reiterating what I was saying, you know, in terms of the focus being on your career, I mean, these are Pentacles. Pentacles are energy of, you know, stability and career, money, you know, finances on the whole. And you have like King of Pentacles right here, first out of the gate, telling me that your focus right now is on your monetary status and on your stability and on building that home here, that 10 of Cups that we're talking about. And with the Knight of Pentacles, again, it's reiterating, because we have the same card here now in this same area, talking about slow but steady progress. And then Five of Swords, you know, Five of Swords is, it's struggle, but it's struggle in the mind. You know, I'm seeing like an internal debate. Yeah, I feel like you're overthinking things tremendously here, and it's causing you to feel almost broken, right? You're so overwhelmed by these thoughts that it's breaking. But the good news is it's like it's breaking away some of this non-functional, this you know, withered energy that isn't serving you anymore. So while it may seem like a heavy burden and painful in some ways to break off, you have to get rid of some of that old growth that isn't serving you anymore. And so I think that's where you are. You know, you're in a very, again, slow but steady progress, and you're focusing on that. And it may mean, you know, cutting off some of those old things that don't serve you anymore. Like we were talking about over here originally in the theme, where I believe it was the that peppermint card, right? It was talking about cutting off the things that don't serve you. And I really see that reiterated here. So I think that in the coming weeks, fixed signs, you all are going to be really, really focused on your career and evaluating what is not serving you. So don't get stuck, if you can help it, in this indecision paralysis sort of thing, or self-doubt. We're going to see in the advice what happens, but I wouldn't be surprised to see something like a Two of Pentacles or a Two of Swords. All right, so in the love life arena, you got Knight of Swords, Ace of Cups, and King of Cups. So we have two Cups energies here in the love life, which, you know, Cups energies are generally energies of feeling, emotion, and so forth. So again, it's interesting because we talked about the King of Pentacles dominating, but here we have King of Cups, and then we have King of Swords. Like, you have all three kings, except for, actually, no, you have them all. King of Swords. Oh, no, you don't have the King of Wands. So it's almost like, let me kind of circle back around. You have King of Swords, King of Cups, King of Pentacles. You don't have King of Wands, which is almost like telling me you've got the thought, the heart, and the stability. What you don't have is that passion to ignite you, which is an energy to me of all the plans and none of the mojo, right? You've got all these things that you're ready to do, but you just are stuck in this like cycle, this pattern. And I think one of our cards earlier spoke about that, you know, getting caught up in the same old, going around and around and around. But in our love life here, fixed signs, we've got a Knight of Swords, which is something coming in relatively rapidly, a truth coming in for you. Again, we have that bent tree like we had in the Five of Swords energy. Let's compare and contrast, okay? Right here, like in the overall energy, it was this cutting away of this, non-living matter. But here, it's like, it's regrowth. You could see this, it's bent, but it's not broken. Broken, bent. And so whatever you have going on in your love life, and I'm thinking of that song, Just Give Me a Reason, and I think it's Pink and The Great Big World, or whatever it is. I'm sorry, somebody correct me in the comments. But Knight of Swords is, fast-moving energy, truth, and to me it says in your love life, You may feel pushed to the edge, but there's like a rejuvenation that's there because this is still important to you. You know, if I'm really feeling specifically for some of you, you're in a marriage that you may feel like has been through the ringer, perhaps because of your career. And it bent things, it changed things, but it did not break you. It did not break that relationship because despite everything, you, my fixed signs, are still pouring out that energy and seeing new growth and willing to come with that. And it is important to you. And in fact, I'm hearing it's like it's equally important to your career and the overall energy. Like you are still prioritizing your romantic life. Again, that's for those of you in like long-term relationships or marriages, like you're pulling through. And for those of you who are not in a relationship, it's almost like you haven't given up the ghost or the hope of the potential for a relationship, you know, with somebody maybe you haven't even met yet. All right, and then in career, we have the Hermit, the Death Rebirth card, and King of Swords, which, again, none of this surprises me at all. In the coming weeks, my fixed signs, you're going to see this Hermit energy of, you know, going within and maybe a spark kind of lighting within you where you're starting to get some clarity on things and you're seeing this is not working for you anymore. It's something that is a change that needs to happen for there to be progress. And I hate to say it this way, but this looks like a logging exercise, right? Where somebody cut down the tree intentionally so that they can both, you know, twofold here, seeing within, seeing the past, seeing the history of how things have gone so far, but also can we take this prior experience, what we've gained in the course of this career, and can we turn it into something else? You know, I'm seeing where, you know, you cut down this tree and you can transform this tree into paper or you know, firewood or something that can be used elsewhere. And so I'm feeling like in your career, you're starting to see that what you've gained, even if you weren't entirely happy in the job that you're in, you still gained valuable experience. And even though you're cutting it off, in retrospect, you're like, you know, this was good because I took something away from this. And you're seeing the truth of that. You know, you're seeing your worth is what I'm saying, specifically with this King of Swords, right? Because you have this like sword in a stone look here, very King Arthur, in the sense of like, you're finally going to recognize that you are the king in your own life. You are the person who can make the change and ascend to better places. You just need to see it. You need to actually just try. You need to at least try to pull the sword from the stone. And then once you do, I think you'll see that you've got what it takes. You've got the moxie. You've got the insight. You've got the experience to make a change and see some positive things. So I'm really excited for you in the coming weeks. Let's get the official advice. Like I said, I wasn't looking at the bottom, so let's see what the bottom says here. We've got the 9 of Winter Swords. Okay. And on the other one, we have the Emperor. Okay. So what that tells me is there's almost... Okay, 9 of Swords is, again, more stuck in your head, but it's more like to the point nightmares. And in this card specifically, I mean, it's like a crown of lightning. Like there's just so many thoughts that are going on in your head that are messing with you that it's almost like a shadow on your entire life. And meanwhile, it's like you don't see that you're the Emperor. You are wise, you are able and competent and can achieve. I mean, balance. We've got these 2 mountains here in the background balanced out. The tree itself is balanced out. You've got new growth here in the forefront. And, you know, let's see. Hold on. I feel like I need to look under this because I didn't see what it was. We've got the Initiate of Winter Cups. The Initiate in this deck, again, is the Page. So, you know, it's like look at this. It's almost like a wish and a dream. I'm seeing very Peter Pan, right? Like a youthful optimism. And if you can hold on to that youthful optimism that is underneath this 9 of Swords nightmare, like if you can just scrape that away, which is your intellect, right? It's almost like, okay, in your heart, you have that indelible optimism for, you know, that you can have something better, something great, something amazing, right? But covering that up and shielding like from your sight that hope, that positivity, that youthful optimism is this mindset. is that nightmare, that fear, the thoughts that are overtaking it, and the thoughts that say, hey, almost like that ego energy that says, hey, like, why are you gonna, like, your hearts are stupid. Like, thoughts are where it's at, you know, thoughts are reasonable, thoughts are rational, thoughts are where, you know, you're gonna get real results here, so ignore that. And what I'm saying is, like, you gotta scrape that away and focus on the internal, because when you do, I think you'll see that you're the emperor here. And 10 of Pentacles, look, we're back again, 10 of Pentacles, circling back to where you've been. Your dream is achievable, okay? You can have that stability. You can have both financial and love stability. You can achieve everything you want. Fixed signs is what I'm hearing here. You've got it at your fingertips, and I believe in you, and I do think Spirit does too. So I do appreciate you joining me. I really wish you all the best in this coming few weeks. And don't forget to go to tinlatarot.com, like, share, subscribe, etc. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. All right. So we are going to move on next to our cardinal signs. All right. So if you're watching straight through, thanks for joining. Otherwise, this will be, of course, marked and you won't hear any of this. So there you go. Our cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. These are the initiation cards, right? These are the people who are movers and shakers and doers and just are all about change and growth and all that fun stuff. So that being said, I will officially start it here. If you're hearing that sound, it is because you are a cardinal sign, Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn, and you are here to find out what's going on in this Imbolc season. Where have you come from? Where are you going? Where you come from, Cotton Eye Joeing, all that business. So thank you so much for joining me. This is TINLA at This Is Not Legal Advice. And what we're going to do to start is we're going to look at our Imbolc Oracle to get the theme for your life, your love, and your career. Like, share, subscribe, etc., etc. Go to the website, tinlatarot.com. You can book those readings, like I said, and these type of specialized readings will be there as well. So let's get that oracle card for my cardinal signs, those who love the change, the move, the shake. In life, we have bathing ritual, number 6. We'll come back. River rocks for love. And calming. Interesting. Never seen that word. That's fun. Okay, so in your general life, we have bathing ritual, number 6, which in the traditional tarot is the Lover's card. So it's a, you know, could be love, could be choice. Let's see. With you, water spirit, I wash away what no longer serves me and drink in spells that call for healing. So your theme for your overall life in this bathing ritual, let's find out what the book says. All right. Keywords are healing, washing away negativity or what does not belong, and preparing for success. Receiving this card is a good omen that a new beginning is very close at hand. However, there is still a little healing to do before you can welcome a fresh phase. There are remnants of past experience that are still negatively influencing your choices and what you're calling into existence. You may not even be consciously aware of just how much emotional or spiritual weight you are still carrying. You may wish to consider reaching out to a professional if you feel called to, who can help you access those areas of your life that are in need of healing so you can safely process and move forward. Bear with me here. I have a cat up in here who's trying to get involved. Okay. Each time you confront the challenges of your past, you open up a little more space, which allows you to fill your life with more joy, abundance, and love. Pulling this card is a sign that now is not quite the right time to move forward with your plans, although you are not very far away from the light at the end of the tunnel. Skipping over this crucial healing step could derail any future success you might have. Instead, invest in this act of self-care, washing away what no longer serves the person you are becoming. Incidentally, I did my own bathing ritual earlier this evening as part of my Imbolc ceremony. I cleaned the house, took a nice cleansing bath, lit some candles that are red and white, set up my altar, which I would show you, but I can't because it's a lot of reasons. But anyway, my point is, it's take time out for yourself, is what I'm feeling here. In terms of love, we've got the River Rocks, right? Which is number 34, which adds up to 7, which is the Chariot. So we've got some action here in your love life. It says, go with the current, dear one. Find peace in letting go. Let life wash over your soul and welcome your becoming. All right, let's find out. What is the theme for love for my cardinal signs, number 34? All right. The key words are going with the flow, finding peace, and washing away the old. Oh, washing away the old. How fun. That's like right in there with the bathing ritual. Anywho. A river rock has no choice where it goes. Water washes it along the banks, or perhaps a stranger picks it up and throws it in the deep to sink to the bottom. Wherever the rock lands, it has ended up where it was supposed to be. And when drawing this card, you too are experiencing something your soul signed up for long before your time on Earth. There isn't much you can do to change the outcome of your situation, so you are being guided to go with the flow and let the river rocks fall where they may. This card will generally come to you during times of disappointment and suggest you are only seeing what you've lost. Very, very, by the way, side note, 5 of Cups energy there. Perhaps maybe even 8 of Cups. You may not yet know the silver lining of your situation, so focus on finding peace with where you are rather than trying to create a different outcome. Additionally, you are receiving this card because you are having a hard time letting go of the past, which is, again, why we did that cord cutting ceremony, but neither here nor there. It's time to wash away what was, or you'll miss the beauty and joy of your new surroundings. Okay. I know it's listen, as a cardinal sign, it's like you want to do, you want to go, you want to change, you want to act, right? But this is saying, like, hold on, it's okay, let things happen. You don't have all the control you think you do, which is tough to hear, I know. All right, calling, number 30. I promise it doesn't say calling, it says calling. I know, it's weird. I don't know what that is. I'm going to look it up. I am here, present, ready to answer the call. Hear my beating roar come back home to me. And this is the career card. Obviously, we have the black sheep, right? So you're different. You're new. You're changing. You are maybe, not what other people expect you to be is what I'm feeling out of the gate here. Let's see. Okay. Keywords. Coming back home to the self, answering the call, and taking the action. By the way, it's on page 98, which adds up to 17, which is the star, hope, and healing. You have pulled this card today as confirmation you are on the right path. What you have asked about is right for where you are at this time in your life. Again, that's very much consistent with that energy of like going with the flow. And you can expect your situation to work out in a way that feels comfortable and natural for you. There is a feeling of coming home to where you belong when receiving this card. Even if things are still a little rocky, know that this will soon be over and you are already moving towards bliss. This card serves as a yes card in this deck and also validates any idea, project, or relationship you are interested in moving forward with. Answer the call that is ringing in your soul, because the excitement and joy you feel is your higher self telling you that this is what you are here to do here on Earth to do or become. In some readings, this card indicates the need to spend more time at home or with family to heal any outstanding domestic troubles. Though there isn't much to be concerned about in moving forward as long as you're showing a willingness to overcome any problems. So put that on the back burner there for a second, because this could be either, a yes to a new project career-wise that you're considering. Could also be like maybe take a step back and focus more on going with the flow and focusing on your family life. So let's put these to the side here and talk about where you've come from so far in terms of, the period of time encompassing the winter solstice, which was, I believe, December 21st, to the present day, which is Imbolc, again, February 1st. Although whenever you find this reading, if it speaks to you, then roll with it, So I'm going to ask Spirit to talk to me about your life, generally, your love life, your career life, in more detail. What have my cardinal signs been dealing with of late? What have you all been dealing with? Let's see. All right. We've got the Winter Hanged Man, number 12. And the Ace of Winter Pentacles. I'm going to come back around to all these once I pull them, because I'm just feeling that way. So I'm going to roll with it. Ascending to Spring, that's number 21, which is traditionally the World. Okay. End of our major arcana. 5 of Winter Pentacles. Apprentice of Winter Cups. Now the Apprentice in this deck is the Knight. So this is the Knight of Cups. And the Ace of Winter Cups. So I'm going to not look at the bottom. I'm going to set it over to the side for our advice later. So let's talk about on the whole here. We've got 2 aces, which tells me there's a lot of fresh starts. We've got fresh starts in career, and also incidentally, of course, in the career sector that we're talking about, we've got the Cups, the Ace of Cups, which is saying to me that on the whole, my cardinal signs, you are integrating your personal life with your work life, right? In your general life energy, you've had this sort of sense of focusing on your career and there being new beginnings in your career, but then it's like when you're at work and you're focusing on your career, you're thinking about your personal life. So it's like a, you almost feel like you can't win situation. You know what I mean? Like you're at work and you think about home, but then you're at home and you think about work, and that's where you're coming from here. And that tells me also, by confirmation, this Winter Hanged Man, you're trying to get a change in perspective. Like you're trying to figure out how to make it all copacetic, right? How do I get these things to work together? How can I not feel like I'm of two minds here, where I'm, like I said, focusing on work when I'm in my personal life, focusing on my personal life at work? Like there's got to be some way to tame the beast, right? There's got to be some way, a very strength energy, to make this all work out together. And so you could be reading, studying up, focusing on how to do that, trying again to get a change in perspective. You might be reading, I'm feeling like some self-help books. And also I feel like doing exactly what we talked about in some of these cards in the theme, which is trying to take control of the situation, take the bull by the horns and make a change and fix it, right? And what those cards said, if you recall, was you can't necessarily do that. You have to go with the flow, right? So incidentally, we're also seeing Cups energy and Pentacles, Cups and Pentacles. We don't have any of our wands. We don't have any of our swords. So this is not about thought or action. This is about feeling versus practicality. You know, that's the balancing act that you're running here. In terms of love specifically, and again, remember, this is the recent past. Ascending to spring, number 21, you know, you're looking forward to that change in your love life, your romantic life. You know, whether you're single or married or partnered up or whatever you are, it doesn't matter. There's an energy of like elusiveness with this fox here, where you're like on this quest to move forward with ascending to spring. Like you want, wherever it is you're in this, where you're feeling left out and unsure of where things are going, like you want that to be over. You just want to like, okay, what do we do now though? Like, how do we fix this? Like, I'm almost feeling like it's like you had a tragedy or something like that in your personal life, or some kind of stagnancy that you just like, okay, let's just keep going though. Let's move on. Like, can we get past this? How do we fix this? And you almost feel like you're alone in that. And I bring this up because in a lot of different decks with the Five of Pentacles, it's like two people together out in the cold. But in this card, it's the one person and they're alone. This person's alone. And you might feel like you're the only one in the relationship that is pulling the weight to try to move things forward. Like the other person isn't being honest with you or being fully clear with you. They may seem like they're not ready to move forward. And you're like trying to, like, you've been trying over the last month or so to really be pushing it forward. Like, okay, let's just keep going. Let's move on. Let's, like, how do we build from here? And you're alone in doing that. And it really, again, harkens back to that card that was about the river rocks and really just letting things be, which I know as a cardinal sign is very challenging. Like, you want to initiate change, but it's almost like to initiate change in this situation, you have to let it be and accept it for what it is, which can be a really big challenge. And I'm getting that it's a struggle for you right now. Like, you're going through it because you don't know how to fix it. You want to fix it so bad, but you can't, whatever it is. Like, let's say you're single, for example, and you want a partner romantically. You feel like, okay, maybe if I just go on the dating apps, or if I take this action or do that, you know, whatever it is, you're like, I need to do this thing and then I'll be better. Then it'll work. Then I'll make it happen. I can take it, like I said, take the bull by the horns and make it happen. And you're looking for that solution, But that River Rocks card at the beginning was telling us, like, you can't do that. Sometimes you just have to let it be. You have to sit with the pain. You have to sit in solitude sometimes. You have to let things unfold as they might. And sometimes you just don't have control over that. And I think as a cardinal sign, that's one of our key lessons, right? Is you don't always have control over everything. And that's okay. All right, but you want it to end. Whatever it is with this, this basically world card, you want whatever it is that you're going through to end. Again, another example, if you're in a relationship and like somebody, you're either going through problems generally or somebody cheated or something like that, and you just want to fix it. You're like, okay, let's go to therapy. Let's do, take this action or do that thing. You're trying to fix it. And sometimes you just need to sit with it, right? Anyway, that's just another example. In your career, you are, I want to say again, you're like driven to distraction while you're at work about your personal life. But you're still worried about your personal life, which is really a conundrum to be in. But anyway, you have your Apprentice of Cups, which is that Knight of Cups. So you just, in your career, you really want to move forward with the things that you're passionate about. You really want to have your personal life really integrate, I think, seamlessly into your work life. And I think there's been some challenges there, but you're moving in that direction. So I think in the last, again, month or so, you've been working really hard on how do I, again, balance the other things I want in my life, the love and other things with my career, and taking steps and studying up on how do I make that happen? How do I make those moves happen? We see like a new moon in the background here. So you're looking at, and oh, by the way, a lotus here up in the sky. So you're very much looking at new beginnings and changes and things you want to do with respect to your career. And if you recall, the card that we had here was the calling, which was a yes. So this is the right track for you, is what I'm feeling. Is you're making moves that are going to be very beneficial to you going forward. So that's where you're coming from. Let's find out where you're like headed in the coming weeks, right? As we go from where we are at Imbolc to the spring equinox. Again, I can't thank you enough for joining me on this beautiful evening. This is one of my, like I said, my special readings. It's not my typical, like, make it happen Monday or, love readings type things. But it felt important to do. So, all right, we got a card flipping over telling me to pipe down. And let's go. So we got the Lovers. And remember, this is going to be the coming weeks, right? The Three of Wands. And the Page of Wands, okay? Now we got some wands coming up, which is really interesting. All right, I'm getting, I feel like I need to shuffle this here. The Spirit talked to me about the love life here. Ten of Wands. The Empress. And the Knight of Wands. All right, and career, please. Oop. It's the Three of Cups in reverse. It just fell out and flipped around. Judgment. And the Chariot. And I'm not going to look at the bottom. We're going to save that for the advice. All right, talking about overall life energy, we have, again, the Lovers, the Three of Wands, and the Page of Wands. So with the Lovers, it can, of course, be love, clearly, but it is also about choices. It's about two different roads. What's that? I don't know what that poem is. I chose the path least traveled. I apologize. I'm not really much of a poet in that sense. But whatever it is, it's like you are seeing, you're looking for a way to integrate these two choices. And the Three of Wands is looking at the future. How can you make those things happen? You're looking to the distance. You're looking at the long term here, which goes back to our Pentacles, right? We had a lot of talk about stability and that sort of thing. And Page of Wands is like action, go do the thing, get the thing. So in the coming weeks, it seems like you're going to be really trying to find a way to integrate your work and personal life. You're going to be looking toward the future and what are those things, what does it look like in your future, in those arenas, and what actions can you take now, meaning in the coming weeks, to make that happen, to elicit that change, right? And we see all this spring energy here, right? So again, you're starting to take some action and based on a vision of the future, which I think is good, but let's see if that's what the advice is going to reflect, right? Because we had all those cards at the beginning about like hold off, be cool. Anyway, Ten of Wands in love life with the Empress and the Knight of Wands. So Ten of Wands is the struggle is real, right? But in this card, I'm seeing, despite the struggle and the battles you may face, there's still like a little bit of growth that you can do. Like it's like despite all these challenges you're facing and barriers, you're still pushing through, you're still growing, you're still changing, you're still having a rebirth. And with this Empress, it really drives home the rebirth phase. Like phase. It's going to be like, there's going to be a fruition here. And the Knight of Wands, is right in line with that Page of Wands, where, it's even further. Like here, you're like conceptualizing the action, but here you're like taking action. And, we have this tree growing up, in the road, which is interesting because it's not like the road was paved on top of it or around it. It's growing on top of it, which is telling me it's like your love life and the actions you're taking in your love life are secondary to the plan that you already had laid forward for yourself. So like, it's almost like you had your life plan and then love came along and you're like, okay, I will make that happen. I'll make it work. I'll put it on top of what I already thought I was going to do because I could see where that would be something that is beneficial to me despite how hard it may be. So it's a challenge. Your love life, I'm not being serious. Like your love life is going to be a challenge. It's going to be something you see as like interfering with the paths you've already made for yourself, but also worth it. And there's going to be struggles. So, you can see the possibilities here. Like, yeah, I go through the struggle with this love issue, right? The struggle we talked about here and moving on. And it could come to fruition. It could come to something good, but also it could impede my pathway. In fact, that's how I'm seeing it now that I'm saying it again. Because in context of here, where you came from is, if you recall, we were in the cold, we're trying to force a healing. Here, you're struggling through a love relationship. You can see the benefit, but you can also see how it could impede your career and your life plans. But if you notice, again, this tree is very green and leafy, and it says that there's a chance that this is still something that, even though it appears to impede your plans, could be beneficial. All right, now on to career. Three of Cups in reverse, right? It's an energy of, it's like the opposite of celebration, right? It's the struggle. It's going through it. It's feeling like you're alone in this endeavor, whatever it is you're working on. And again, I think that's, look at this. I mean, in fact, it doesn't even want to be seen. The Judgment card, it's this sad, teeny tiny little poorly rooted thing by itself. But, it is getting rained upon. So there's a potential with this acorn that there will be growth in the long-term future, but you want it now, right? The winds of change are blowing with the Chariot. Things are happening, like you want to see things happening. But again, notice with the Chariot and the way the wind is here and the leaves being as they are, it's very autumnal. It's the fall here. It's, you have to go through the seasons and let the growth happen. And you want it to happen, you see this, like growth, yay. You want it to happen now, but it's not happening. So it's almost a dormant energy of let things take their course. You have to go through things have to go through their season, right? You want these things, you want these great things that you've been dreaming of and studying about. And by all means, continue to study about it, learn about it, decide what you want to do and start to put those things into action. But understand it's going to take some time. The winds of change blow, the seasons happen, the plant just doesn't exist, right? It has to come out of that acorn. It has to start from somewhere. It has to be watered and nurtured and that sort of thing. So, I'm seeing a lot of balance here. We have a major arcana in each sector, which tells me that you're very balanced in terms of where your energy is. You do want the love. You do want the career. Let's find out what the advice is. I'm going to flip over those decks here we talked about. All right, we have the Initiate of Winter Pentacles, which is my Page of Pentacles card. Of course it is. And the Sun. So this is telling me that if you take things slowly if you are studious, if you are really making your choices wisely. I mean, this person is someone who's sitting there and focusing and not really acting. And I think that's the energy that I'm getting here is like, hey, I know it's contrary to your energy as a cardinal sign, right? You want to act, you want to do, get the stuff, do the thing, woo, okay? You are an agent of change and an agent of chaos, if I say so myself. But you're an agent of change, and that's a great thing to be. But sometimes you got to take a moment and decide, what does that change look like? And there is a beautiful potential here. There is happiness at the end of all of this, but you've got to go through the natural course of things to get there. And I want to know what's under this sun. Let's take a look. The Hermit, right? You got to go within. You know, you got to have the darkness. You got to have the the leaves falling off, if you will, to get to the sun. You know, you've got to let again, nature take its course. Very much that river rocks energy, right? You got to step back, like go within. You got to take your time, breathe in, breathe out, and don't just like do the thing and get the stuff. Like I said, woo. Don't be a woo person, or do, whatever floats your boat. But that's the advice from Spirit that I'm getting for you, my beautiful cardinal signs, is, go within, don't rush it. You've got this. It's going to happen for you, just not right now, and that's okay. All right? Anywho, Sun, happy ending. We love that. Thank you for joining me at TINLA Tarot. I appreciate you. This is still not legal advice. And I will see you next time if you're going to stick around. Maybe you've got some kind of ascendant or moon in a mutable sign, because we're going to shift over to our mutables. And we're doing them last because, one, it felt right, and also mutables, being mutable are kind of cool with anything either way. So if that is the case, feel free to hang out. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Mutable signs, we got Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So let me ask you to mind your ears. If you are one of my beautiful mutable signs, this is your reading for our Imbolc festival, or a little Imbolc special reading to do. We are going to take a look at what the general energy is here, where you're coming from most recently in the season, where you're heading. So if you are a mutable sign, thank you for being you. Thank you for adapting to the craziness of action that is us cardinal signs, and also the stability and or stubbornness that is the fixed signs. We appreciate you. We really, really do. But in the meantime, let's find out what your general energy is looking like in terms of your overall life stuff, your love stuff, your work stuff, all the stuff and the things. Thank you for joining me again, TINLA, at This Is Not Legal Advice. All right, so Spirit, tell me, what is the overall energy and life for my mutables? We love them. They are going to like, share, subscribe, etc., and leave me great comments. All right, Spirit, what is going on in their lives right now? We have consecrate tools, words, number 16. 16, of course, is also on there with the Tower, so changes, right? We'll get into that a little bit further. In love, we have Forged in Fire, number 21, which is the World, so some change coming along there. We also have that beautiful moth, so I think we'll see what that is about. And in career for my mutables, Keening, number 29. Okay, 2 and 9 is 11, so we could look at that as justice, or we could say 2 if we really added up for High Priestess. But what a face on that one. She is really going through it. So mutables, what do we have here, my dears? We have, in terms of overall life energy, consecrate tools, including yourself. That's why I'm seeing like this bride almost energy. You're consecrating not just your tools in terms of your physical objects, but yourself as a tool, because we are all conduits for the universal energy, right? Okay, so it says, I will claim what is mine, what I see beyond the hidden. Gifted spirit, by tongue my words spill with purpose. Let's find out more about this. Number 16, consecrate tools. The keywords are establishment, displaying spirit, and claiming ownership. Pulling this card means you have not claimed ownership of the situation you're asking about. Perhaps you aren't sure how something will fit into your life, or if this is even something that is needed for you to move forward, or perhaps you're assuming something is yours without having to declare or confirm your intentions. Witches consecrate tools to clear them of any former energy and dedicate them to a higher purpose. Otherwise, your magical work may be imprinted with the wrong vibrations or be influenced by someone else's desires. Making a conscious decision to commit to something completely changes its energy. If you remain on the fence about your situation, you send out the energy of doubt and possibly confusion, and will get more of that in return, or you're leaving room for someone else to come in and take what is meant to be yours. By embracing what is before you, you are allowing an energetic pathway to establish its place in your life. Drawing this card suggests you will get nothing worthwhile out of your situation until you're willing to elevate its status to a permanent fixture. However, your situation will begin to work for you once those involved know you are fully invested. So this says to me, as a mutable sign, like I said, you're flexible, right? You can go action-wise, you can go with, stability-wise. You're very flexible, but sometimes that flexibility needs a declaration of intention, and that's your overall life energy right now. So let's look at Forged in Fire. Okay, it says, your strength was crafted through adversity, and mastery only you behold. Forged in Fire, number 21. This is love area, remember? Love life issue. Keywords, mastery of a skill, completion of a task, detail-oriented. Metalsmithing is a centuries-old practice that has literally been honed in fire over countless generations. A master smith knows quality work is in the details and will spend hours refining to create a superior product. A smith was a sacred part of the community, especially during ancient times of constant war. Blades, axes, and armor could make or break a soldier in battle, so taking shortcuts could have deadly consequences. This card guides you to look at the smaller details rather than focusing on the bigger picture. It can mean you're taking too many shortcuts or are in need of additional skills, tools, or education before moving forward with your plans. In the rare instance this card falls out of the deck in reverse, it means you are too focused on perfectionism and need to allow yourself space to grow and improve with time. Aim for perfection, but don't obsess over it. Additionally, it can mean missing out on something because you're waiting for circumstances to be perfect. Know that there may never come a time, and it is better to have tried than missed out altogether. Incidentally, this was on page 66, and this is on page 77. All right. Keening, number 29, and that was your love life. So in your career, we have number 29. Hold on for just a moment in time, acknowledging before release and liberating what needs to be freed. Okay? Let us see, my mutables. Number 29. I'm so glad you're here with me. I appreciate you very deeply. And I hope that this speaks to you. If so, like, share, comment, etc. Keywords, releasing sorrow and grief, expressing emotions. Keening is a Gaelic/Celtic tradition of releasing grief for the dead through an intense wail, although death wailing is a practice that is observed by many indigenous cultures and especially in the Americas, Asia, and Africa. Mourning wails served many purposes, including showing respect for the dead and releasing sorrow. Pulling this card is a sign that you or the person you have asked about is not communicating effectively. There may also be a lack of respect or connection between those involved with your question. It isn't fair to expect someone to understand how you feel if you don't share your thoughts and emotions, and this card suggests your situation will not change as long as you keep quiet. This is not the time to take a passive position. Express how you feel and make your demands, frustrations, or desires known. If your question is about career or money, then receiving this card can mean it's time to ask for a raise or promotion, but it can also mean demanding more respect from your colleagues. Additionally, this card may be guiding you to speak up for a worthwhile cause. There are lots of worthwhile causes right now that can be spoken up about. So let's see how this plays out, because my sense is that this is maybe a boss or something that you need to have words with about your job and what it is doing to you or stressing you out about, or maybe some lack of clarity in your job. Maybe you're working a lot of overtime. You know what it is right now. We'll get some clarity, honestly. Okay, wow. Wow, okay. You are feisty today. So this is going to be the energy you're coming into this reading with, right? What's been going on the last month or so. 5 of Winter Wands, overall energy. Master of Winter Cups, that's King of Cups. Let's get some love cards. And by the way, the Master of Winter Cups looks kind of like Oprah, I'm not going to lie. I mean, the hair in particular makes me feel very Oprah-y. Let's see. What is going on with my mutable signs? Oh, in the love life, we've got Apprentice of Winter Cups. The Apprentice in this deck is the Knight of Cups. And what else do we have for love, my dears? New Moon, number 18, which is, again, just like the regular moon in your normal deck, but this is the, you know, winter deck. I will tag, of course, all these decks in the description. And in career, that seemed to be a focus here, career. What is going on with my mutable signs in the past month or so? How are they coming into this reading, whenever it may find them? Okay, a card flipped over in here. It is the Winter Hermit. And the Two of Winter Cups. A lot of cups. I mean, look, cups, 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 cups. Shot. Anyway, never mind that. I'm not going to flip over this deck, but on the bottom will be our advice for later, okay? So, you're coming into this reading, my dears. I'm told to start with career, with this Winter Hermit and Two of Winter Cups. You know, this is an energy of a lot of passion for what you do. Like, you really are, whatever it is you do, you really take it to heart. You know, you have an idealized version of what it is. Like, you're very, very passionate about it. This is something where you're either passionate about the cause that you're working for or the way you perform your job, but it is something that is very fulfilling for you. There may just be external sources that are requiring you to speak out. So you may be working in an industry that is, how can I put this? You know, the kind of industry that would have a really big impact societally on you, or you know, on society as a whole, but you feel like you're contributing and you're doing a lot, and you almost feel like by working at this job, you are able to use your voice. Or it could also be that you feel like you could use your voice more to effectuate important things and principles if you were able to take on other roles. So I'm not saying that you're unhappy with your job, but that you're using your job either as a vehicle to speak, or that you want to do that more than you are currently doing. And that your job, honestly, is like a harmonization of your personal beliefs and how you feel about things, or the world at large, and the actual functions of your job. In terms of love, you know, with the Knight of Cups, you know, you are moving forward in love. Things are happening, but we've got two new moons here. So I'm seeing that, you know, this is a new chapter in love, or it has been recently. So you've either recently ended a relationship, started a new relationship, or you're in a new phase of your relationship. So, you know, if you're, for example, in a long-term relationship, or even not, there may be something that's coming around the corner, like you're getting engaged, you're getting married, you're having a baby. Like, there's a significant change here. And you're embracing that change. So honestly, it's beautiful energy. I mean, let's just say you're in the group of people that I'm talking to who their change is that they just ended a relationship, or the relationship was ended, you know, with or without their consent, right? You're still viewing it as, you know, something to learn from, something to grow from, and a change to be sure, but nothing like you're sad about it or whatever, but you're also seeing it as like a new opportunity. You know, you're not like curling up in bed and eating like pints of ice cream and just shutting off the world. Like, you're still seeing it as a positive or a potential positive. So I think that's great. You know, again, if it's an unexpected change, like maybe you're, you know, getting, you know, you're getting married, or you're having a baby, or something else substantial is happening in your love life, like, it could be perceived by a lot of people as negative, but you're seeing it as like a new opportunity, which I think is a great perspective to have. And honestly, like, I'm not seeing anything bad or concerning here. Like, you're honestly, like, you're doing great, right? And like, that goes back to our main energy with the Five of Winter Wands, right? Now, the Five of Wands can indicate conflict sometimes, but it can also be indicative here of surrounding yourself with people who are in your same red string of fate, right? They're still in line with you. This is surrounded by friends, families, a support system. And with the King of Cups, like you just feel this sense of like an outpouring of love. Like I really do feel, mutable signs, like you feel well supported. You feel like you've got a lot of love in your life, from all kinds of different angles. And even when it seems like things might be dark and dreary in the background or unknown with this, again, this new moon energy consistently here. You got a new moon here, by the way, too. So you got new moons all across. You know, you are very much still seeing this like, I'm going to be awesome in my own way and thrive and vibe and do all those things. So you're like, you're just like, you're chilling, you're vibing, you're thriving. Like, I honestly think you're coming into this reading. I don't even know why you're here. I mean, I love you and I'm glad you're here. But, like, you are not in, like, you're not riding the struggle bus right now. Like, you may have seen some things and some stuff and, like, gone through it. But you're not in a bad place, I don't think. So let's find out, you know, you want to know, though, you're here for a reason. So, you know, I think you might want to know, where am I heading with this? Where am I heading? Where are my mutable signs? Where are they heading in the coming weeks before the spring? Where are they heading generally? All right, we got some cards here. We got 2 of Swords, 10 of Swords, and 3 of Swords. Okay. You sure about that, Spirit? Where is that coming from? Where is that coming from? 10 of Pentacles, the Hierophant, and 5 of Pentacles. Give me a clarifier, please, on the 5 of Pentacles. Please, Spirit, clarify on 5 Pentacles. What's up with that? What's up with the 5 of Pentacles? Queen of Cups, okay. All right, and then career-wise, coming weeks, please. King of Swords. Queen of Wands. And the Magician. Okay, and I'm just going to shuffle these around a bit so that we can get the advice without me having seen it. Okay. All right. Wow. All right. We've got a lot of swords here, which we did not have. Like I said, we have all these cups, like all this feeling energy coming into the reading. And then in the coming weeks, it's going to shift from feelings to thoughts and facts and more stability. You know, I mean, we've got pentacles, swords, like we're really, in a sense here, like shifting gears, right? Very much. It says to me that you're almost getting, and it explains to me why you're here also, by the way, because things are almost like too chill for you right now, where you're like too going with the flow. You're like thinking, all right, there's got to be a catch. What's the catch? And what I'm seeing with that, honestly, and don't hate me for saying this, I'm just the messenger, okay, is you could break your own heart and cause your own trauma and problems by overthinking things and worrying about how things are going to go and getting stuck up on what to do. It's almost like you're you're thriving and vibing and going along your way and things are going fine right now, but you're getting so like spun up in your mind that you might actually cause the outcome you're concerned about. Like, if you just kind of let it go, if you focus on, consecrating yourself, like I said, as the tool earlier from that card, where you're just focusing on your own energy and not worrying what everybody else is doing or what could happen or how, really getting to, like, this, like, downward spiral, of thought, letting things just really haunt you, you're going to cause your own problems. So just focus on yourself is what I'm feeling. Focus on your own energy and how things are going to go for you. And don't worry so much about like what could happen, how things could go wrong. Like, this is almost a little too easy. Things are going too well. There's got to be a catch, right? That's what I'm feeling. I said that you're in your head, like there's got to be a catch, right? And maybe sometimes there isn't. Maybe that's your lesson here, or where you're developing right now is just because things are going well, that doesn't mean there's a problem, right? That doesn't mean there's an issue. And how did this Three of Pentacles come out? Honestly, I don't even remember that coming out. It must have been under the Three of Swords, which is telling me if you harmonize and you work together with other stable forces in your life, you know, hearkening back to this the Five of Wands, right? Where we're talking about like the community support. If you can like look toward the stability of others and the support of others, you can get past this. You almost need like a neutral third party, like a friend of yours who has a more like, I don't say a level head, because you're pretty level headed, mutable signs, but it's like that person is there to tell you like, hey, stop it. Like you're doing this to yourself. You're torturing yourself. Stop it. And in love, like, look, everything's going smoothly. Ten of Pentacles, like you're getting everything you want. Things are going great. You've got some kind of commitment, stability, either there or coming in. Things are relatively peaceful, right? Five of Pentacles is the only one I asked for clarification on with the Queen of Cups. And that's because when I got the clarification, what it says to me is, you know, it's almost an echo of this over here, which is you are creating your own problems by envisioning the worst because you care so much. It's like everything is going along swimmingly, but then you're like, well, what if I love too much? I could end up hurt, alone, out in the cold. What if I don't love enough and then I'm abandoned? What if this person loves me more than I love them? What if I'm not ready for this? What if? Like there's a lot of what if energy that circles back to these swords. But right now, like you're in good shape. Like things are okay. Just kind of let it be. Let it stabilize. Like you don't need to worry about every what if. Just let the love flow and don't worry about what could happen. You know, maybe you love and you, you know, again, you take the next step. Like I'm almost seeing somebody who is in a stable relationship and is considering like maybe proposing or getting married generally or taking things to the next level. And you're okay with that. Everything's going along. And if you just keep along that track, you're fine. But, you know, you are also worried like, well, what if I pour out and this person rejects me? What if I love them more than they love me? You know, but realistically, if you just keep kind of plugging along, you'll be all right. So what I'm getting here is a lot of sense of like, don't make your own problems. You know, with that Forged in Fire card, we talked about, you know, the details, and it's that energy of just live in the now, right? It's talking about focusing on the details, focusing on the beautiful things that you have now is how I'm feeling it. Like focus on the beautiful things you have now and the intricacy of all the great things you have right now, and stop worrying about that bigger picture. Like, where is this relationship going? Am I going to be a good parent if my partner is having a baby, or I'm the one having a baby, or whatever? Like if you get like too zoomed out, you almost freak yourself out. That's where I'm seeing here. And with your career, you know, there's also this energy, King of Swords, like again, more thought energy. You know, what am I worth in this? You know, you want to, you know, follow your own path, tread your own ground, make your own future. And I don't see a bad situation. Not that this is bad, but I feel like things are kind of status quo. You're going to be relatively grounded, see your own worth. You're going to see, you know, the fruits of your labor. You're going to be chilling like a villain and manifesting the things you want. So, it's funny because you're like staying the course in your career and you're going to see that pay off. But in your love life, it's like you're going to overthink the heck out of it and freak out and hurt yourself. And that's playing out here, where it's like if you can just rely on those who care about you, they can kind of help you see that you're freaking yourself out. So I think that in the coming weeks, the focus in terms of like where you can maybe look towards some change or you know, you can address your energy would be look at your love life in particular and how you might be overthinking things and harming yourself by worrying, you know, and really being like too in your head about things instead of like looking at the support system you have and listening to what they're saying. Because I'm feeling like your friends and family are telling you like, hey, everything's going along great. Your job's great. Everything's great. Like, why are you so freaked out? And it's almost like you're looking for a problem is the best way I can say it. Like, things are too easy. Let's look at the advice. We have the Winter Hierophant. Look, didn't we just had the Hierophant. Where the heck was it? Here, look, Hierophant, right there, right? Things are good, things are stable, things are good. Like, it just, more new moon, by the way, energy. And 10 of Cups. See, everything is fine. If you can accept this stability, like we have here, and not freak yourself out, you can have everything you've wanted to have. And specifically in terms of love, because we have the Cup energy. That's why I'm saying there's all this focus on the love. And like, it's almost like things are too easy for you, which I know is like really crappy to say. It's why I said, like, why are you here? You have it together. You are good. You are focusing on yourself. You're focusing on making yourself heard, on cleansing, on growing, on developing, on, you know, living in the now. If you can live in the now and not get so much like caught up in the what ifs in the future, you've got this. And I want to see underneath this, High Priestess. You know, this is an energy of like things that are hidden, like you're worried about what's beneath, like what if, again, the what ifs of it all. Like, yeah, I can see this great thing here and the mystery of it all, but like, is that mystery a bad thing? You know, not everything can be known in love. It is a leap of faith. And you're just really worried about, what does that leap of faith mean for me? Is it going to be X or Y, black, white, you know, what is it? And unfortunately, it's just know you're going to be happy, right? You're going to be okay. You don't need to classify something as a 1 or a 0. Let's see what else we have here. 3 of Winter Pentacles. Look, we had the 3 of Pentacles right here. 3 of Pentacles reiterating, right? Focus, like together, working together, leaning on friends and family. I mean, it's so clear here that you're almost making your own problems in the coming weeks. I hate to say it that way because it just sounds so negative, but mutable signs, you're in great shape. You can have all the things, and maybe you almost feel like you don't deserve it, but you do. I'm here to tell you, you deserve every good thing that's coming to you, and they are coming to you. You can be in your best life. You really can. You have people around you who love you, and great things coming your way. Don't ruin it for yourself. Or, you know, not that you can really ruin anything, but like, don't make it harder on yourself by freaking yourself out. Just keep going. You've got this. It's amazing. I'm so happy for you, and I thank you for joining me. And I wish you all the best. Happy Imbolc, everybody. See you soon.